Hello, welcome back to another episode of doing quality assurance testing for a 19-year-old game. You can stand at this spot and the camera will flicker back and forth. A lot. Staying in the camera's vision field will cause the guards to keep spawning. Guns have a limit as to how many can be on the ground. Here you can see the ones in the background disappearing. In the previous episode, I showed how looking at the sniper spawn stopped it from spawning. I later learned that looking at some enemy spawn points causes them to get stage fright and not spawn. This most commonly happens with alarms, as their spawn points are typically very close to where the alarm can get set off. While recording this episode, I noticed that this crate caught fire from a grenade and didn't immediately explode. I thought it was pretty interesting behavior. The bottom 4 computer terminals in this room are explosive, but none of the top ones are. Although shooting the middle one enough will cause you to fail the mission. Shackles that hold the Maidens disappear when you restart from the checkpoint. A zombie will typically spawn if you grab this armor, but restarting from the checkpoint has caused them to forget their cues and they won't spawn. You can shoot down the maiden in the foyer to save her, but the 4-foot fall kills her, so that's unfortunate. The hunchback is not intended to be followed, as he runs into many walls on the way out. If you follow the hunchback, he will go all the way to the beginning of the sewers, and then he will stand there waiting for you to look away so he can despawn. I found out that if you shoot him, he will very shortly aggro on you, and then reset back to a more passive state. You can glitch the Croptolite boss gate to stay open if you start the encounter and immediately duck under the gate that would normally prevent you from going backwards into the stairwell. Although getting impaled with a wooden gate doesn't hurt you, you can go down the stairs and get the armor. It looks like Free Radical was thinking ahead though, as they closed this door at the bottom of the stairwell to prevent you from going into the room while the big boss is still there. I guess this is their way of preventing us from getting Goomba stomped by him. It seems that Viola has the scavenger perk on in this level for looters, as every single looter will give her full ammo. If you break the glass at the roof of the Notre Dame and go outside, you'll notice that the glass has immediately repaired itself and is also now indestructible. Very rarely, while swapping to the dual pistols, I've noticed that the left gun sometimes gets jammed and won't fire until you swap guns again. If you know how to replicate this, please let me know. I've only had this happen twice in testing. The Maiden Shackles appear to have a safety mechanism, where if they are shot, they immediately free the Maiden that's in them. This can be used to rescue the second Maiden without opening the cage and spawning the zombies that will come after her. I was curious to see if there were any glitches with shooting the rope and pulling the maiden down at the same time, but the only thing I found was that if you shoot the rope and pull her down at the same time, she snaps to the floor but dies in the hanging animation. You can open the second starting gate from the other side of it. You can also stand under the gate while activating it like the Croptolite boss, and then activate the switch will make the gate fall down on you, and then will go immediately back up. This will make the next pull of the lever do nothing since the gate is already all the way up. It is possible to soft lock this level, but the odds of you doing this accidentally are about the same as the odds of someone actually microwaving Pop-Tarts for the recommended time of 3 seconds. To do this, you need to save the maiden that is hanging from the ceiling, and when the two of them start walking away, block the hunchback from walking until he starts running. This can be seen by him holding the shotgun with both hands, rather than just running with it in one hand. Once he is running, you can let him start moving, but he will stop at the doorway near the start of the big room after the checkpoint. Look away from him for about 10 seconds, and you will hear an enemy audibly die. This is how the objective would normally be complete, but my theory is that because the maiden was despawned at a different time than the hunchback, he despawns and does not complete the objective. He does always drop his shotgun like this though, so if you need more ammo, just grab a shotgun. In the maiden room, it is only necessary to kill 5 of the zombies, as only 5 of them are programmed to go after the maiden. These 5 are the 2 that spawn going after the 3rd maiden, and all 3 zombies coming from the checkpoint area. The checkpoint in Notre Dame will only work if you've rescued the 4 maidens in the maiden room and have done nothing else in the level. If you've done anything else like getting the time crystal or helping the hunchback free the 5th maiden, then the checkpoint will not trigger and you will have to restart from the beginning in order to get the checkpoint trigger. If you are on fire and restart from the checkpoint, you do not spawn on fire anymore. If you are playing a split screen and find it unfair that your buddy can get a dual Luger but you can't, never fear, because if one player picks up a dual wield pistol and the other one picks up the other one, since the dual wield property is attached to the pistol itself rather than picking up both guns, you can both have dual wield pistols. This also reveals that your character doesn't know how to use only one gun at a time if they have the dual wield. It's like washing your hair in the shower, but if you have shampoo and conditioner, you can use either both or neither of them. Killing the priest with stealth in Notre Dame causes them to reset to some strange positions. Specifically, the front left one seems to move forward a lot based on how many you've stealth killed. Once he's the only one left, he seems to get stuck on the time crystal booth and just runs into it. While getting to Notre Dame and split screen to record, I noticed that the Captain Snow doesn't seem to be bothered by the alarm or the fact that 4 of his friends are getting killed right now. Now, although this is normal, what I noticed next was that he seemed to have given up on protecting the Siberian base, as he could care less if there's some random stranger staring him in the face with a gun, although he randomly decided to care again and started shooting about 2 minutes later. Return to Planet X does not have many glitches, but it does have some pretty cool ones. The first one is that shooting the UFOs and destroying them all on the beach attack doesn't stop the attack, and you still have to kill all the enemies off. I did not know this for the longest time, but this is a camera terminal that gives you the objective to find the UFO base. I always wondered how somebody was supposed to know to go to find the UFO base if there was never an objective for it at the start. The door behind the large guns locks when a player uses it. There is no reason for this, because if both players just go in there, then who are you locking the door from? Because the first door that you use to get in this room also locks. Both of the elevators in the map can be used to see out of bounds and see the beautiful skybox. The second one allowed me to see under it once, which was interesting, as it shows that the floor doesn't actually move and there's really 2 floors, and one just pushes you up while one stays there. Very interesting design. While both of these cameras appear normal on the surface, one of them is actually properly attached to the ship, where the other one is kind of floating there without anything supporting it. There is a small seam in the first UFO after you jump down and hit the checkpoint that makes the game basically unplayable.